Welcome in, welcome back. It is me, Sky, here once again. Um, yeah, let's do our best to go ahead and get into it. If you hear a little bit of a shift in my tone, um, just going through mental health stuff right now. Also got some family stuff going on right now, so trying to like balancing, being a real human and also content creation and wanting to get content out and all that good stuff. So I am going to do my best to get my points across and kind of get out of here. But I just wanted to put this video out there as we are still putting out content for Destiny 2 as well as other games. And yeah, just kind of not necessarily a line in the sand, but more so just kind of just a little bit of insight of where I am and kind of what I'm thinking. So yeah, I feel like that's good enough for an intro for today. Again, excuse the brevity and lack of, more polished scripting as I usually do. Just want to go ahead and get this out and go forward. And yeah, again, as always, would love to hear what folks have to say in the comment section. But the reason I'm making this video, just to kind of dive in, is as I was getting ready to create another responding to your comments video, which I really enjoyed the last video we did for folks who engaged in that content. Really appreciate it. The video didn't do that great in comparison to other videos that we have on the channel, but to me, it was really fun making that video because sometimes it gets overwhelming. Sometimes there's videos that don't do great, but there's really detailed comments, and I really appreciate people who take the time to legitimately like watch the full video, engage, type out thoughtful responses. I really appreciate y'all, and I want y'all to know that I value your time and the energy that you put towards that. And there's other times when I don't want to call it a controversial video per se, but when I do more hot topic video that's responding to something that Bungie did or responding to something that's happening in the community, and it ends up picking up and it does well, even though we're a small to medium channel here, then there's like a flood of comments, right? And people have a lot of thoughts, we'll just leave it at that. And one of the things that I think is a struggle for, well, I don't know, I don't want to go down a rant about, I'm just gonna stick to the 3 points I put on my piece of paper, and I hope that y'all can understand my points and it kind of comes across. But knowing that's the context, I was in the middle of creating that video. I was creating a follow-up video about responding to your comments, and I just started to see this theme in the context, in the comments, about what folks have just been thinking about, in particular about recent content. And so the first point that I want to say is that catchy or like controversial, and I feel like it's more catchy than anything, titles does not give you the right to I'll just say how I feel. I just don't feel like it gives you the right to not genuinely engage with the content, because I think a lot of folks get so lost in the sauce sometimes that they don't understand that having a catchy or controversial title is part of the YouTube game. It's part of the YouTube grind. I made a promise to you all, and I'm gonna say you all, I'm speaking to my friends, my homies, the people in my direct personal community, as well as the internet community that we have here with the cloud commune. You all, I made a commitment to you all, and I still hold true to the commitment that I made to you all when my first videos, I said, I'm not here to make clickbait content. Point blank, period. Like I don't want that to be a part of my legacy. I don't want that to be a part of what people know me and this channel for, is just clickbait content. And I feel like somewhere along the line, as I was grinding out videos, I was putting out things, I kind of got a better sense of what does well for the algorithm. The content, like the content that's actually in the video, has never been clickbait, and I stand by that. And if you want to have a discussion about that, we can. But like, I feel like there's a legitimate argument to say I've never put out anything that's actually been clickbait content. Now, I have said and put out videos that have titles or things that are going to be catchy for the algorithm. But when you actually like sit through and watch the content, I'm giving you an analysis of something that I didn't just think of in 30 seconds and record a video and put out there. I doing it based on my experience, talking with friends, gaming with people in LFGs, things I've like sat with, other than my weekly rant videos, which you all know because I say it in the description of the videos. I say it at the beginning of each video. These are weekly rant videos about what I'm thinking about the week. And those, again, those videos are called Scattered Thoughts. Outside of those videos, most of my videos take multiple days, multiple recordings, and in some cases weeks to actually like record, get the footage I want, to actually like get the analysis I want. And you aren't actually seeing like a first draft of anything that goes out. You're seeing multiple drafts, multiple things. Again, it's not perfect. I'm not the world's best content creator, but I am putting effort into these things. And I feel like, yeah, I just feel like so often people get so caught up in something like, you know, some of the recent videos where it's like the thumbnail said slow death, and then instantly I was flooded with comments, and some of the comments were just like blatantly like disrespectful, and so I removed them. But there's just a flood of comments that were like, it's very clear you didn't even watch the video. And if you don't want to watch a video, that's your prerogative. But also, I have the right to reserve to like not to directly engage with you if it's very clear to me in the way that you're commenting on my video that you just went based off of the title of the video. You just went based off the thumbnail. You're not actually engaging with the content with honesty and integrity. And I mentioned that as my first point, and I want to get to the other 2 points and then kind of get out of here. But I mentioned that as like kind of the main point from this video because I don't know, I get, you know, on top of like life stuff, it does kind of make me sad. It does kind of feel discouraging to have those people. Again, I'm so deeply appreciative and thankful and sending so much love and energy to people who like honestly sit there and engage with the content. We have different styles of content. Things are like heavily scripted, and you can tell they're heavily scripted. We have YouTube shorts. We have our weekly rant videos. We have different types of content that appeal to different things. And again, I'm not sitting here expecting that everything I put out is going to be applicable and entertaining to everyone, but I do things based on what I think my community will enjoy. And again, time and time again, my community, people who show up to screens, people who show up to streams, people who show up to show up in the comment section, and it's very clear that they have well thought out intentions. I'm always appreciative of, the different people who like actually engage with the content. People send me messages, not trying to like, put people in brackets or whatever, but I'm just talking about, it's very clear to me as a content creator, like who's actually intentionally engaging with the content, and then who's just like literally reading the title of a video and then choosing to be like fake outraged about what, they didn't even actually like watch. And so for me, I think, even as I'm creating content as a content creator, I think, just being transparent, just being transparent, it's tough. And even if I wasn't in like a low mental health state right now, I still would be sad and disappointed and a little bit, annoyed, just to be frank, that, there are other people out there that are not engaging with the content. Now, can I control how people behave? No, absolutely not. I think I'd be extremely, foolish and naive to think that I could, but, it's the impact, right? When you think about, the impact over intent is like ultimately like, it does take its toll. So again, just like naming that, like having catchy and controversial titles does not entitle you to like discount the material. If you just want to, if that's the way you want to live your life and not engage with the content, when I'm very clear in all of my video descriptions, I'm very clear on my channel description, I'm very clear in like all the content I make. If you actually look at what I'm making out there, that we're here to have discussions. I ask you all for comments, at the end of each videos. And for me, again, I'm not sitting here assuming that everyone's going to engage with the content honestly and be intentional and step with kindness. But even when I don't, like, I think what warms my heart the most is beyond the people who just support me. And this is the last thing on this before I get to my last 2 points, but even people who beyond are part of my community, who support me, are very kind, and I really appreciate that. What warms my heart at the same level is even being with people who legitimately disagree with my points, but can be mature enough to actually articulate it in a way where like, hey, yo, I heard you say this at this part of the video, and then I agree with you, but then in the middle of the video, I was like, I didn't agree with you, but then at the end, you had a really good, point that you made, and this is where I land on it. And a lot of times, even in the comment section, you'll see that I'll respond to folks. We'll be in some, back and forth, some positive back and forth, and then, we'll like, hey, agree to disagree. But like being able to have that exchange is important to me, just as important as it is to have people who genuinely like the content and are engaging with the content, not just because they're my friend or they're someone who comes to streams, but they're people who actually want to engage in dialogue. And so, again, being very clear, I'm not naive that we're going to have everyone engaging with the content intentionally, but also I'm not going to sit here and act like it doesn't impact me mentally when people are just, if someone's just blatantly like racist or homophobic or rude or whatever, that's no skin off my nose. But sometimes it can get a little bit frustrating and annoying to be in a space where you have these people who, like, it's very clear, like, you didn't even watch like 2 minutes of the video. And that's your prerogative. That's your prerogative. But also, if you didn't watch the full video, it's always like, again, this annoyance, frustration, confusion around like what would give you the audacity to comment on a video that you didn't even actually fully watch. And again, we're not talking about a hot take video. We're not talking about, we do have reaction videos on the channel, but even with the reaction videos, we're providing our own analysis. We're not just like, ooh, this was great. Ooh, this was terrible. Like, and I don't know. I want to get off this point because I want to go to my second point, which is Destiny 2 is a notoriously hard community to please. Yeah, I feel like there's not much to say. I feel like if you've been playing Destiny for any amount of time, but especially if you've at least been playing for, I would say, at least 2 seasons, regardless of when you entered the Destiny 2 universe. If you at least played 2 seasons, I say 2 seasons because, like, say you like downloaded, Lightfall, for example, and then you did like 1 season, you're still kind of getting the groove of the power grind. You're more focused on the game itself, in my opinion, more than likely, than you're actually focused on like the community and the culture. By the time you get to that like 2nd or 3rd season of playing Destiny, you're starting to like look for guides, you're starting to like really like engage in different ways, and that's when you get exposed to things that are going on. And again, I've said this in a couple of videos, especially recently, but I played a lot of games over my time, and even while I've been on this content creation journey, I still play other games. I play Genshin, I play Honkai Star Rail, I play Jedi Survivor, I play Call of Duty, and I have like community. Even beyond gaming, there's different like anime, like there's a Danwa, group that I'm a part of. There's like general anime communities. There's actually like a mecha anime community that I'm really excited about and that I have a lot of fun with. So I'm a part of a lot of different communities, and so I understand that there's different temperaments. I understand that there's different cultural norms. I just continuously, and not that Destiny 2 is necessarily an outlier, but I just find it that Destiny 2 in particular is just a hard community to please, regardless of what you do. If you do something right, and you have a video like Astacross put out a video recently that got 1 million+ views, and that's like huge for any Destiny 2 creator. And was talking about microtransactions, and there was like all that going on, and I think a lot of folks would say like, oh, that was a good analysis, and you were able, whether you agreed or disagreed, you were able to come away and have some discussion. Or you're just someone who's like, Bungie is the worst company in the world, this game is the worst game in the world, and there are videos out there like that, and it's like you can't win for losing, because no matter what kind of content you put out there about this game, it just seems that there are people who are very intentional or just really like hell-bent on tearing people down. And I say it to say is like, I think that's been especially true in recent weeks with all of the Bungie stuff, the responses to the community, server stability, everything we've already talked about that I'm not going to rehash in the past 2 weeks of video. There's been a number of creators of color, specifically Black creators in this community, who have felt discouraged from creating content on this game anymore because of how difficult the Destiny 2 community can be. And again, I feel like we would have to do a whole separate video to kind of talk about the undertones of like homophobia and racism in the community and other things. And again, it's never black and white. There's always nuance to these communities, because it's like, it's not just Destiny 2 that, you know, creates these, you know, people who are acting these ways. They've probably been acting this way in other communities as well, right? But again, knowing that the Destiny 2 community is so hard to please, I think it's also a challenge, especially in these moments where like Destiny 2 is towards the end of its life cycle. We don't know if we're getting into Destiny 3. Again, we'll get more information at the August showcase, but we don't know what's coming next for Destiny 2. And maybe the final shape, legitimate, the final shape happens and we have like 2 or 3 seasons and that's it. As a content creator, I still want to create content. And it's really challenging to be in the space where like I still want to create content for Destiny, and it's just hard to do so because it's like I can't win for losing. And again, like I said earlier, I always appreciate people who show up, who engage with the content intentionally, like, subscribe, tell their friends about videos. I really, you know, appreciate folks who engage in these different ways. But ultimately, I often find myself walking away week over week just like, what the heck just happened? Like, you know, like I'm really unclear like what is actually going to be sustainable in this community, because whether you're on one end of the spectrum and doing like super like negative, hateful content, or whether you're on the other end of the spectrum and you're only talking about the good things, it feels like there's not a lot of room for nuance. And I feel like that's the content I actually want to make. I want to make nuanced content. I want to make content that's not about black or white, that Bungie's evil or that the community's evil. I want to be able to have nuanced content that like allows us to get into good conversations. Because again, even with some of the recent titles where we were talking about potentially leaving Destiny, when we were talking, again, those are just like catchy titles to the first point. Slow Death of Destiny 2, you know, those things, like, they're catchy titles meant to draw you in, but if you actually listen to the content, I believe, in my opinion, obviously I'm biased, but I believe I'm actually offering a fair analysis of not only what I'm seeing in terms of like what are the issues, but also a lot of times I'm giving solutions, or what I believe could be solutions, which kind of leads me to my last point, and then I'm gonna get out of your hair. Again, apologize if this sounds a little bit more monotone than usual, but you know, life is life, and right now we're just doing the best we can. But I'm still finding my community. I think ultimately, through all the kind of annoyance and frustration, I'm still finding my community. And I think this is kind of one of those points where I say, like, in the kindest way possible, I really could care less. Let me state it this way. I am so grateful for everyone who supported up to this point and got us to the point of being YouTube partner, but I am not interested in creating a community and growing at all costs. Like, literally, I'm not. I could care less about growing fast. I'd rather grow slowly with good groups of people who are actually trying to engage in discussion, who are actually trying to enjoy gaming, who are actually trying to build community. And maybe that takes us several more years before we, you know, hit all the marks we want. And maybe that takes us several more years before we get sponsorship opportunities. And maybe that takes us several more years before we're able to even, think about going into content creation full time. But for me, I'd rather go that route and find my people, find my community, and people who are legitimately going to be about engaging content, because there's plenty of communities. There's cozy communities who are able to do it. There's communities around TT tabletop, you know, I'm not doing acronyms, but tabletop RPG games. There are tons of communities across, like, there's knitting, crochet, even like there's, you know, as hard as it may be to think, even like in like first person shooter games, there are positive communities where it's not just like talking trash about a developer or their game. They're actually like engaging in some nuance, or they're talking about really cool things about like stats and data, about like aim assist cones and different things like that. And I think this is one of those points where, I just want to be very clear. I'm super grateful for all the support. And without folks, even if you're a naysayer, you viewing content, even if you only watch 2 minutes, still counts toward my watch hours. You commenting on the video still helps it in the algorithm, even if like you're just saying something like super gross. But I rather be clear about my intention to build slow and strong with people who are really about building community, really about trying to be able to have more positive, more nuanced conversations. And again, when you come to my stream, if you come to my streams, we talk about mental health, we talk about anime, we talk about music, we talk about, what's going on, in terms of like what's happening in the public realm right now. We talk about all these different things because like I enjoy being able to converse with other people and humanize people into being a space where like I'm actually like engaging with other people, because I know the internet can be such a powerful tool, not just for like personal growth, but also for being able to engage with other people who enjoy something that's same as you, whether that's chess, whether that's knitting, or whether that's Destiny 2. That's what I want to build. And I think this is just one of those moments where, again, I just feel a sense of urgency to be very clear about that, is that yes, we're still going to have catchy titles, things that are going to help us get in the algorithm, but we will still have content that's going to be nuanced. That's not going to change. Sorry, not sorry. Destiny 2 is a hard community to please, and trying to figure out how to get in into a niche of the community, a section of the community, is really hard. But also I understand that Destiny 2 is not my only game that I play, and I'm more focused, again, to this last point of finding my people, finding the community that's actually going to be here for the long term, because I want to do what my slogan says, right? Game, learn, grow. Like I came up with like 1,000 different slogans. Well, maybe not 1,000. It was like 30 something. But I came up with a bunch of different slogans when, we were starting out and trying to figure out what the logo was going to be, what kind of like aesthetic was be, all that good stuff. But like what I kept coming back to was, GLG, game, learn, grow. I want to be able to game because gaming is such a powerful way to connect with people and meet people. I want to learn. I always want to be open to learning. If I state something that's incorrect, I want to be able to, make a comment, and make a pinned comment and say like, hey, I got this wrong, or do a follow-up video and say, hey, I got this wrong. Or if I say something on stream is like, hey, actually La Monarch does solar damage. I want to be able to be, have enough integrity to be like, actually, no, it does void damage, right? I want to be able to constantly be in a space of learning, or if it's not even that I'm making mistakes, but just the fact that other people have other experiences that are valuable, and I want to be able to learn from those experiences. And again, ultimately to that last point, grow, game, learn, grow, where, we're just able to have fun and grow my skills as, I'd like to become a better gamer, although gaming's not my full-time thing. It's nice to be able to, challenge myself, do solo flawless things, engage in that way, but also grow as a human being. And I want to be able to grow alongside you all. And again, you all are the people who are listening to this, who share this with friends, who whatever, engage with this content in a way that allows us all to get better. Because ultimately, I think that's my track record. That's my legacy. Wholeheartedly, like, I feel so clear about that if you actually go back from like my first video to this video here and to future videos that we put out, we may have something catchy that catches your eye, but if you like actually sit here and look at the effort I'm putting into like the topics that I'm talking about, I'm really trying to bring in people into a discussion, and whether we agree or end up disagreeing, as long as you're coming with intention and kindness and trying to be a decent human being, I'm here to listen. I'm here to have that conversation with you. And again, I'm here to game, learn, and grow with you. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. That's where we're at today. Yeah, more videos to come. Things are happening. We take it day by day. But I just felt pretty clear need to like say this and kind of mark my piece. And hopefully it comes across in the way I intended to come across. I'm not here to bash people. I'm not here to, make anyone feel bad. I'm just here to be very clear that, life is precious. And especially in recent weeks, that's been made very clear to me. And yeah, just time is precious, and I'd rather do the best I can to share my time in an intentional way. than just kind of wasted just for, the glory of a moment of being able to have a, whatever reaction or whatever thing that sparks people to something negative. Rather than that, I'd rather, build with people and build community. So, yeah, I'm going to end it there. I feel myself getting a little emotional. So I'm going to stop recording and go cry a little bit. But appreciate y'all. Sending a lot of love. Per usual, would love to know what y'all think about those 3 points. The catchy/controversial titles. Destiny 2 being a notoriously hard community to please, in terms of like putting content out there, and then also my own kind of thoughts about still finding my people. But I'm here to stay. This is not a video to say that I'm discouraged in any regard. It's more that it's a little disappointing to see how some people choose to engage on the internet, and I want to be very clear. I'm here to engage with people who are about having good conversations, who are about being able to agree to disagree when it happens, and who are about our motto here: game, learn, and grow. I appreciate y'all. Send a lot of love. Peace.